Remember that candy store scene in Willy Wonka? That sure was cool! Did these kids pay for any of that? Admittedly, as a kid, that scene always fascinated me. And I kept seeing candy stores pop up in all my shows. Man, I always wanted a candy store in my neighborhood. But what I had was a liquor store around the corner. I mean, it had candy, drinks, and snacks. It was pretty much a candy store. Aside from the drunk outside, the lotto tickets, the alcohol, and the random pro clubs. It was close enough. Well anyway, my old fascination of candy stores was reignited when I came across this series, Dagashi Kashi. Dagashi Kashi follows Kokonotsu, an aspiring mangaka who lives at his family's dagashi shop. What's dagashi? Dagashi are cheap candies and snack foods, so their shop is essentially a candy store. Kokonotsu's father, Yo, runs this shop and wants him to take over someday, but he'd rather make manga. In fact, he's really good, since he can draw waifus and they magically appear. Enter Hotaru. She's the heir to Shidore Candy, a pretty famous candy company. And she came to hire Yo, but he can't accept without Kokonotsu taking over their shop. So now it's Hotaru's mission to get him to take over their family business. Spoilers for Dagashi Kashi. Oh, and also like the video and sub to the channel. Let's talk about some characters. We got Kokonotsu, the manga guy who doesn't want to run his family's shop. But he has a real knack for Dagashi. Hotaru, she's a hyperactive person with a serious love for Dagashi. Little too serious. Yo, Kokonotsu's dad, he's a lovable dummy and a man-child. Then there's Saya, tsundere! She runs a cafe, she's good at games, and is childhood friends with Kokonotsu. Also, she's had a crush on him forever. And last, Saya's twin brother, To. He's also close with Kokonotsu. I think he helps run the cafe. Also, he's just a dumbass. So this show is your typical slice of life, which isn't a bad thing, at least not to me. But what makes it stand out is the Dagashi side of the series. It adds some heart to that slice of life formula. Every episode has a couple of short storylines that revolves around a different Dagashi, and they make sure to explain what that Dagashi is and fit it into the narrative. Like when they want to understand adults better, so they drink Namaiki beer, which are tablets you put in water and it looks like actual beer. Then they drink it and Hotaru actually gets drunk somehow. Also, why is it a kid's drink? Another time, Kokonotsu needs to run all the way back to the cafe before Saya sees something stupid To drew in his sketchbook. And Hotaru gives him some caramel candy by Glico. And according to the box, one caramel will give a person enough energy to run 300 meters. Which is bull, because it didn't help, and Saya still saw the book and killed him. Or when To and Kokonotsu want to become popular with girls, and To heard girls are total saps for fortune telling. So they use fortune telling chocolate to better understand girls. But instead, To wants to use it to see some pantsu. Then Hotaru shows up to say hi, and when she leaves, they get to see some pantsu. Man, I need me some of that chocolate stat. Chocolate! Oh, and this one time, they blindfold each other to guess what flavor fugashi they're eating, and Hotaru wants Kokonotsu to tie her hands behind her back. Then it turns into a fan service session. You know, because anime. They had to take it there. It always goes there. And on top of that, they make sure to focus on some Hotaru fan service almost every episode. Like, 60% of the animation budget went into animating her assets. You smell me, dog? I mean, they add jiggle physics when she's not moving. But speaking of the animation, it's pretty solid. Nothing too insane, but I do like these moments when they animate the characters, or the Dagashi, in some kind of daydream sequence. Random stuff, like Hotaru explaining her divine quest to find the successor. This battle scene with all the Dagashi brands to show how the marketplace is one big food war. Or Hotaru eating this crackling cotton candy, and they explode, then up her mouth ulcer. These little scenes add some fun or comedic flair to the series, and I love them. Then there's Season 2, which has everything Season 1 had, but changes up the status quo. It's now winter and everyone is back in school. Hotaru hasn't come around in a while and it's making Kokonotsu depressed. Yes, I would also miss Hotaru fan service. But the main conflict is the shop being run down. Then Yo gets hurt and goes to the hospital for a month. So now it's up to Kokonotsu to fix up the shop and also run it. But a new convenience store opens up across the street. So now there's competition and the shop is in danger of closing. Also, we get new characters. Benny Utaka, he's the manager at the convenience store. He's also extremely hyperactive and weird. He kinda reminds me of someone. Oh yeah, he's Hotaru's brother, and they're equally crazy. Then there's Hajime. She got fired from the convenience store, and now works part-time at Shigeta Dagashi. She doesn't get paid, she just wants a place to stay. So Season 2 has Benny Utaka wanting to hire Kokonotsu. He even bribes him with dirty magazines. And Hajime is there for comedic purposes. She's just kinda bad at her job. Well, except when she has to cover up her mistakes. But we also get Kokonotsu entering a contest to get his manga published. He works non-stop for 2 days straight. He even has everyone help him. Just to get shut down by the editor in 5 minutes. I mean, he was nice about it, but that still hurts, yo. Like that feeling of working hard on something, and then, oh my, it's Hotaru! Hotaru comes back in the last episode. She runs into Kokonotsu at the bus stop. Then they get stuck in a snowstorm, and Kokonotsu lets out all his frustrations. But then Hotaru pulls out Super Mario Kun gum, which comes with this cool DIY manga they put together. She then cheers him up with words of encouragement, then they eat ramen and fall asleep. And in the morning, once they get back to the shop, everyone fights over his future and chases him down the street in a very funny Dagashi Kashi fashion. Then he gets hit by Truck-kun and gets reincarnated as Yuta Okotsu. Honestly, I think this is a good series, but the consensus is a 6.6. Lame. It's at least a 7. I do kinda dislike how Season 2's episodes are only 11 minutes, possibly due to their budget, but I don't know, I'm just a weeb who wants more. Also, Hotaru is barely in it. She's the flagship character. She needs to be there for my enjoyment. I don't know, maybe I'm a simp. Well, this is going nowhere fast. I'll just go. Okay, bye.